Welcome to everybody that's starting to show up here. Glad to see that you were able to join us again this week, or this week for the first time if you're just now allowing to, or just now getting in here. As we're waiting for people to arrive, why don't you use the chat area and let me know what your biggest takeaway was from last week's training. If you didn't see last week's training, I guess you can't put that in there yet, but go ahead and use the chat area and we'll just kind of see what people's biggest aha moment was from last week's training. Glad to see what your aha moment was there, Mitch. Aha. All right, I think we've got our live streaming all set up here. I've got people saying using YouTube to improve your rating on Google. That was a big thing from last week, and I think something that we can definitely, myself included, you know, everybody can really utilize that a whole lot more effectively than what most people do. All right, appreciate these comments here. So we'll wait about 1 more minute. Appreciate the people that are chatting into or putting things into the chat, both for the entire group to see as well as for just me to see. For those that are joining us here from the live stream, if you want to go ahead and put into the remarks there as to what you might have learned from last week's course, that would be great. The other thing, last week I asked people to put in where they were coming from, and we're not going to go through that again, but I just wanted to let people know that we actually did have people from all over the world watching this. There was people from Switzerland, Australia, Ecuador, a couple other places in Europe. I don't remember where all people joined us from, but it was great to see people joining us from all over the world. So that was fantastic that people were able to do that. If you're joining us on the live stream, I'm probably not going to be able to see any of the comments that you put in until the very end of this webinar. So don't feel like I'm ignoring you if that's where you are. I appreciate you coming in from that direction, but only the comments on Zoom are probably going to be able to be seen as I go through that. It looks like we've got a number of the people here that said they were coming. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Again, this is week 2 of the free masterclass of Monetize Your Expertise. And this is a precursor to my full course that is coming up in September. Some of the people that are on this free mini course participated in the full course last spring, and I'm really excited that you guys have decided to come back and participate in this free mini course here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and let's see if that comes up here for us. All right, so today we're going to talk about getting more sales. And last week we talked about driving traffic to your website. So we were talking about getting found, and once you got found, getting clicked on, and then getting repeat visitors, people to come back to your website over and over again. If you have not had a chance to see that particular class yet, the recording of it is available, and I recommend that you go watch it. I put up here, watch it now. We'll watch it right after this because you're joining us live here, and I want you to go ahead and participate in the live course here. But if you did not catch that, I really recommend that you do that. Now, you can do that. There is a link, and I'll show you the link here in a little bit, but the link is basically WebStores Limited, webstoresltd.com/free class, and that will take you into last week's recording. And when we're done with this week's class, this week's recording will be in there as well. Plus, I've got some other bonus materials in there for you, which I'll talk about as we go through the course here today. So first thing is, do you want random people to buy stuff from you on the internet? I assume that that's why you're here. And in order to do that, there's kind of three different things here that we're specifically going to talk about today. The first is your ideal customer avatar. Then we're going to talk about lead magnets and email marketing, and finally the perfect product sales page and how to actually get these people to start buying from you. Now, before we get into all of that, if anybody here is new, I'm going to just do a little bit here to introduce myself. I spent some time on this last week. I'm not going to go through everything here, but I just want you to know who you're listening to. My name is Greg Jameson, and I have won multiple awards for my businesses over the years, including Colorado Small Business of the Year, listed on the Inc. 500, International Developer of the Year. I've developed literally hundreds and hundreds of websites, and I've helped people sell more stuff online, which is really what this whole course is about today. Now, I said we were going to talk about lead magnets, and the definition of a lead magnet is that it is an irresistible bribe offering a specific chunk of value to a prospect in exchange for their contact information. Basically, you're trying to give them something to get an email address out of them. But a really great lead magnet is something that is so compelling that the prospect will voluntarily and gladly share it with others. So they're not only going to give you their email information, they're going to tell their friends and colleagues about it, saying, hey, this is such a cool thing. I think you really ought to go there and grab this yourself. That's really how you start to grow your email list, is by having a great lead magnet or a series of great lead magnets. And the way to do this, and the thing that really this entire class today is based upon, is something that is called your ideal customer avatar. Some people call this a customer persona. The two terms are interchangeable. And you can see up here that there is a sheet of some of the things that we want to define in our customer avatar. What we're really looking to do is create an imaginary person that has all of the characteristics of our ideal customer. And we want to know as much about that person as we possibly can. And once we know exactly what turns that person on, what makes them tick, then it's a whole lot easier to sell things to them. Now, this particular form here that you see up here, I've actually turned this into an online form so that you can go in there and you can upload a picture of your ideal customer avatar. You can put in all of this information here so that you can start to define who your ideal customer is. And when you go to that link up there, webstoreslimited.com/free class, that is one of the pieces of bonus material that I've got up there for you, where you can fill out that form, and you can fill it out online. And when you get to the end of it, you will get it formatted like how you see here on the screen, and you'll be able to print that off and keep that for your records so that you can use that in all of the things that we're going to talk about here today. Now, the good thing is once you know all this information about a person, then it makes it a whole lot easier for you to go in there and do things like creating a lead magnet. As we've said, you know, a lead magnet is something that is so compelling that people will gladly give you their email address in exchange for what that is. And it might be some of the things that you see up here, surveys and blog comments and feedback forms and stuff, as to where you're going to get some ideas here that have been inspired by your audience. But you know, because you know who that ideal customer is, what kind of a lead magnet they might really like to have. One of the things that I recommend that you do with your lead magnets is that you don't do this. You don't just put a pop-up on your website saying, hey, join our email list and, you know, give me your name and email address. People are on enough email lists. They don't need to just be on another email list. Instead, what you want to do, the pop-up idea is fine, but what you want to do is you want to do something like this, where if you're going to have a pop-up there, you say, hey, surprise, you get a gift here. And you've got a button on there, gimme, I want this gift that's worth $119 or whatever. So pop-up ads can work when they're seen as a benefit rather than an annoyance. And if you really want to use a pop-up on your website, you want to make sure that it is a benefit for your visitor. So you can do that. You can have your lead magnet offer be in a pop-up. You could have your lead magnet offer be in the header of your website. It could be in the sidebar of your website. It could be clear down here below your content. It really doesn't matter that much where your lead magnet offer is. It depends upon the particular page that you're putting it on. And I would make sure that you actually have multiple lead magnets on your website, targeting different aspects of your pages so that you can really collect email addresses regardless of what people are doing. For example, when I write a blog post, I will frequently put a lead magnet at the end of my blog post saying, hey, if you really liked what you saw here today, you know, click here to grab whatever my freebie might be. The other thing that you will want to take a look at is if you're going to do any kind of advertising, advertise your lead magnets. Don't be advertising the things that you have for sale. In other words, some of you have come here through some Facebook ads that I've been running. I didn't say on my Facebook ad, hey, go sign up for my web course that starts on September 9th. Instead, I said, I've got this free course that's going on right now. Why don't you come join us and see what I have to offer you? So advertise your lead magnets. Don't advertise your products and services. You can put your lead magnets in your emails as well. And that is, you might be saying, why should I advertise my lead magnets in my emails if those people are already on my email list? Well, one, you might have a different offer and you're trying to get them into a different segment of your list. So that is a good reason to do it. The other thing is that you might have people on your email list that will actually forward your email to other people. And so your list can grow that way as well. So this here was actually a good example of a lead magnet, one that I got in an email here. So you notice it just says, hey, you get this free client seduction blueprint, get it here, pretty simple, and it worked well. Another email that I got here, basically a cheat sheet saying that you can get this cheat sheet to attract your very best clients. And as you scroll down the email, it says, download your free cheat sheet right here. When you click on that, it goes to a particular, what's called a landing page or a squeeze page. And then it looks the same as the email. You click on download my free cheat sheet, and it basically at that point asks you for your name and your email, and you can download it. It immediately takes you to a secondary page that allows you to get that, and there may be some upsell things in here as well, such as join our community and so forth. You might have a video and so on. And then there was a follow-up email to this that said, hey, go in there, grab your cheat sheet. If you didn't grab it off the website, you can get it here. So you immediately get a follow-up email on that. And if you partook in the upsell thing here too about going in there and joining the community and stuff, then you can add some of this stuff to your calendar. And you'll notice here that she's got some PSs in here about joining a free masterclass. So there's a second free offer in there. So that's kind of the sequence that you want to put together with your lead magnets. Now, like I said, there's actually all different kinds of lead magnets that you could create. It really depends upon who your ideal customer is and what kinds of products and services you're offering. So you can see up here, maybe you want to offer an ebook, maybe you want to offer a private label right product, maybe it's a video, maybe it's something like what you're participating in right now, a free mini course, tickets to something, gated content, recipes, spreadsheets, all different kinds of things. One of the things that you should do when you start creating these lead magnets is, even though you know who your ideal customer is, I recommend that you actually test your lead magnets. You can do an A/B split test where you basically have, in this case here, maybe one that advertises a free ebook and another that advertises a free checklist, and you determine which one's actually giving you the most leads. And that way you can figure out, hey, maybe the free checklist is getting me more leads than the ebook is. So that's the one that I want to start pushing in my advertising, in my emails, in my blog posts, whatever it is that I'm using to really start to attract those people. So a couple things to remember about your lead magnets is put your ads and your links above the fold on a page so they don't have to scroll down to get to your offer. Always have 2 lead magnets ready. That way you can do some testing and you can use them in for different reasons. So it might be something as simple as, like you saw that I've got this thing here, this form for creating your ideal customer avatar. That could be used as a lead magnet. This course could be used as a lead magnet. I've got a quiz that we're going to talk about next week that could be used as a lead magnet. So different things, have a couple of them ready so that you can use them for different reasons. Don't include the opt-in form on the squeeze page. Instead, give them all the benefits and then say, click here to get it. Just like other forms of content, you want to change them up on a regular basis. You want to test them, and you want to offer real value. Again, it goes back to a great lead magnet is something that people really want to share with people. They don't want to just get put on an email list. So now let's talk about, we've got people on the email list and we're starting to email them. Let's talk about the perfect product page and how we are going to get people to actually start buying stuff on our website. So you can see here that we have a buyer persona, as we talked about, or a customer avatar, whichever one you want to call it. And we're going to create different things here. A buyer specific headline, a short description that is specific for that particular buyer. We're going to have a buyer specific description. We're going to have high quality photos and specifications and videos and calls to action. I'm going to show you a lot of that stuff here. So you remember your buyer persona, right? Your ideal customer avatar. Well, you are now going to create a buyer persona specific product title. So let's take a look here at a particular product that is fake candles. Pretty generic title. It's the kind of thing that I see on most product pages. Instead, I've got a website, as I've told you about last week, that is geared towards scouts and specifically towards scout ceremonies. And one of the things that I sell on that website are fake candles. So you could, rather than just having a product title of fake candles, I could instead, since I know that my ideal customer avatar are scout leaders, I could say that my product title is the perfect artificial candle that is ideal for fire restrictions or windy outdoor scout ceremonies. That's a much better product title than just fake candle. People still know it's a fake candle because it's an artificial candle that's ideal for this. And it's ideal for windy outdoor scout ceremonies. The other thing that you want to do is use high quality images to actually tell a story. Oftentimes, people grab the manufacturer's photos, and those are usually professional photos and they're nice, but they don't necessarily tell a story. So in addition to those, you are probably going to want to take your own photos. And one of the things that you'll want to do is you'll want to show the product in context. For example, here, these earrings, you know, if they aren't shown in context, people don't necessarily understand how big that particular product is. If you've got something like a dirt bike, then showing somebody actually riding the dirt bike and having fun, an action shot is going to be much more compelling than just showing a picture of the dirt bike sitting there on the showroom floor. This is something that I see a lot of people do in their web shops that you really need to be careful of, and that is utilizing the same aspect ratio for all your thumbnails. You don't want to have your web shop look like it's all disjointed like this, regardless of whether you've got vertically oriented products or horizontally oriented products. If you put them all inside of a square, then your shop is going to look much cleaner and more professional. You want to avoid distracting backgrounds. There is software out there that will do this for you, such as this one called Photo Clip. you can see that the image on the right actually brings into focus exactly what it is that you're talking about. And when you're doing that with a product, it becomes even more apparent. So you can remove backgrounds from products. So in this case here, I've got these ski goggles. I go in, I select the edges utilizing some software that I'm going to show you in my complete course, and you end up with just the image itself, so it looks like it's on a floating background. We talked last week about using videos for SEO purposes. And one of the things that I really recommend that you do is that in addition to your photos, not instead of your photos, but in addition to your photos, you include a video showing how the product is actually being used. And you can take the stuff that we learned last week about search engine optimization, take that same video that you're creating there for search engine optimization purposes and embed it onto your product web pages. Which is what I did on this particular site here. Okay, the next thing that we want to talk about is buyer persona specific product descriptions. You want to write copy that talks directly to your ideal customers. So when we go back and think here about this fake candle that we were talking about, what a lot of people will say on their websites, the descriptions that I see is something like fake candles can be used for scout ceremonies. That's not good enough. You really want to have a description that talks specifically to that ideal customer that you have created, and you want to tell them a story. So for example, with the fake candles, you can see here that I crafted this product description that is fairly extensive here. And it goes through in here and it says, does your scout unit meet in a church, school, or other building that prohibits the use of open flames? You want to use candles as a part of your scout ceremonies, but you're not allowed to until now. Any scout unit can now use candles as part of their ceremonies by using these faux candles because they not only look real, but are 100% safe. And it goes on. And then it tells you at the bottom here, as kind of part of telling the story, that these candles are so realistic that we've even had the fire department called when we were using them. Talk about creating an event that your scouts will not soon forget. Okay, so I'm talking here, telling a story about these fake candles, and I'm targeting that buyer persona that I identified up front. The reality is that anybody could come to my store and they could buy fake candles for setting the mood for a romantic dinner or whatever they want to do. They may buy them. Those people might buy the fake candles because they want a romantic dinner. But I have found that people will buy more when you target your buyer specific persona than if you just have generic descriptions out there. And you might be going, well, that's a big, long description there. I don't want to go out there and create this. You know, I've heard all the excuses of why businesses don't want to get detailed product information, including those who claim that adding too much copy negatively impacts their sales. And all I can tell you is through my 20 years of experience, I say BS to that. When done correctly, more is better. In fact, 67% of consumers who have visited an online store with the intent of making a purchase leave the site because the retailer did not provide enough information about the product in order for the consumer to feel comfortable enough to make an online purchase. When it comes to product descriptions, more is better. The length of the copy should actually be longer than traditional ad copy. And the reason is the internet does not have a space limitation like traditional ads. Remember that your customers are looking for information. They did a search, they doing their research, whatever on your product. They want information, so give it to them. As I said, generally speaking, the longer the length of your copy, the more you're going to sell. Of course, that's only true if you hold the customer's interest, is why you need to tell them stories. But you're the expert, so sell them on why they should have the product. Now, I've got another example that I'm going to show you here. This is somebody that is selling grape jam. And you can see here, this, in my opinion, is really bad. One, you can hardly read the thing. It's got this cyan color on a white background, and the only thing they say is homemade grape jam, $7.50 per 8-ounce jar. And it's either pickup or delivery. Another customer selling jam. Again, no information. We talked about product images selling the product. Fuzzy product here, doesn't look good. And there's no compelling reason why somebody should buy this particular product. I'm going to look here real quick at my participants to see if he's on here. You are on here, Brian. Very cool. I've got another customer here who has done a much better job of this. You can see here that he has gone in and created a product description that gives people more information and really is more compelling as to why they should buy it. He goes here and he talks about the origins, in this case, of apricots in China, and how the taste is this blend of sweet and tart to make it unforgettable and potentially addictive. Use it on spread as a spread on breads, toast, waffles, and so forth. So he's giving you some information here. Now, quite honestly, there's some improvements that can be made here. He can be showing additional pictures of the product in context, not just the jar of the product, but actually showing the product being spread out on some waffles and pancakes and scones. He could be showing somebody eating it and really enjoying it. The product description could be more targeted towards his ideal persona, saying, hey, I know you're busy in the morning, but you still like a great tasting breakfast because that's important to you as a mom of 6 kids or whatever. So he could be targeting his ideal buyer persona more, but you can see how much better that is by a long shot than what this one was. Let me give you another example. I had a customer that asked me to review their website, and they were selling these America West purses. And this was the product description on their website. America West purse number such and such, caramel, hand-tooled leather, guaranteed for life. I see that all too often. I went in and I rewrote the product description for this particular product. Remember again, more is better. So this is what I had come up with. The mere mention of America West conjures up images of cowboys and pathfinders in search of new frontiers. With this pioneering tradition, America West celebrates the human spirit that lives on in the hearts of many, still today, as in days gone by. And I go on and on and on here about how this vintage style collection blends basket weave and floral tool design on an aged mocha colored leather background and so forth. Then I start to give them specifications. This outstanding 3-compartment leather handbag is made of 100% hand-picked leather and features. And then I go in and I talk about some of the details of the actual purse. Basically saying that each piece is created by individual strikes, one by one, and so on. This type of copy is much more likely to sell than just putting up a very short, terse description that, yeah, people get that that's what it is. It's a leather purse, but you need to give them, like I said, enough information that they can make a buying decision. Okay, I want to tell you another story here. A friend of mine knew this cowboy up in Wyoming, and every year this cowboy would go out and he would buy himself a brand new hat, and he would turn around and he would sell his old hat online. Now, a new cowboy hat, a good 7X cowboy hat, I assume costs about $150 or something. And he would actually sell his old hat for more than what it cost him to get himself a new hat every year. And the way that he did this was by telling a story. And he would go out there and he would say, you know, I had this hat for the last year as I was working my ranch, and I wore it every day for a year. And some of the experiences that I had might be of interest to you. In fact, I remember this one day that I was crossing the river and I couldn't get my horse to go, and I couldn't figure out why. And I'm kicking him and water splashing up everywhere, getting the hat all wet. Finally, I look up on the other side of the riverbank and there's this grizzly bear standing there. He was selling an experience. And that's the kind of thing that you need to do with all of your products, is tell stories and sell an experience. And I don't care if you're selling a cooking utensil, you can tell a story about how it makes your cooking so much better that people are going to want to buy that particular product. Now, I showed you on that America West purse that you want to include specifications, and that can be in either table form or bullet point form, but you want to include specifications about what you're selling. Let's go back and think about that fake candle again here. And one of the things that I might put on the fake candle example is, you know, how big it is, the size, what it's made out of, the fact that it's safe. There's a free remote, so you can turn this thing on remotely. It's got a 5-hour timer, what the battery life is, that it's made out of real wax, it's got a money back guarantee, and so forth. So again, include enough information that people can make a buying decision about whatever it is that you have in your online store. Now, the next thing, we talked here about the full product description, and the full product description is long and detailed and has all this information on there. Most shopping cart software will also allow you to include a short description, and the short description should basically follow this format. This particular format is courtesy of a friend of mine named Ray Edwards, who is a master copywriting expert. And this is what he says the short description should look like. So basically, any of your audience, your ideal customer persona, can do whatever by using this product or services because of this. So for example here, my short description for the faux candles might be, any scout unit can now use candles as part of their ceremonies by using these faux candles because they not only look real, but are 100% safe. So that is what would be the short description. And then that big long description that I had actually would go down below. So here's an example of where the short description is typically seen on a product page, and then the long description down here at the bottom. Now, in the long description, maybe in the short description, since that's what people typically read first, and maybe the only thing they read, but somewhere in the description, you want to include a call to action. And basically, this is your chance to close the deal. So in the example above, with my faux candles, I actually suggest that they buy 12 of them, one for each point of the Scout Law. And you can make a what if question in your call to action, such as, well, what if you don't purchase these candles? You can continue to not have the ability to use candles at your ceremonies. You can continue to have your ceremonies be forgetful and uninteresting. Or you can choose to purchase these candles and make your Scout ceremonies something that the boys will remember for years to come. That's giving them a reason to buy. So it's not just simply having an add to cart button, but you ask them to buy and you give them a reason and give them some alternatives here as to what it is they are going to do. Next thing that you want to do is you want to reinforce what you're doing here with social proof. Basically, let your customers do the talking. One of the things that I like to recommend to people is that you put a card in with the shipped product requesting a review. Email the customer afterwards with a link requesting a review, and use a plugin like Proof Factor to increase social proof on your website. All right, let me show you one other example here. I had a customer that contacted me a few years ago and said, I don't understand why products are not selling on my website. I put everything up there and I know people are coming to the website, but they're not buying from me. Why? Well, I took a look here and this was one of his products. And you can see here all the things we've talked about. There's no short description. There's no long description. There's no reason why somebody should buy this product. Then I went out and I looked at other sites that were selling this exact same pump. And you can see here that it's still not perfect. It says Powerhead pump, whatever, 16-foot cord. It does have some social proof. It's got one review. It's got a better description, but it still isn't talking to that buyer-specific persona. So that's what I really recommend that everybody do, is that you include all of these things. You really need to have them, but you talk to that specific buyer. So I'm going to, with that, take a short break here and ask people, what has been your biggest takeaway today so far? So I'm actually going to stop sharing here and let people type some things into the chat and kind of see what people are thinking about what we've covered here so far today. And we're not done. We got more to go. All right, getting some good comments here, both again sent to me directly as well as to everybody here, but Kathy's saying she wants to buy my candles now. That's actually something, I sold those for years, Kathy, and they were actually a really good seller on my website, but the cost of importing them got to be higher than what other people were in fact selling them for. So I no longer offer them, but in next week's class, we're going to talk about sourcing products, because we're talking about multiple streams of income. And that's one of the things that we'll talk about maybe, is where you can get some products like that to include on your website. So yeah, the big product, or the big thing that people are starting to get as a takeaway from this, which is what I really wanted to have happen, is create your buyer persona, know exactly who your ideal customer is, and then write your descriptions, craft your stories around that particular buyer persona. So let's go on here. I'm going to share my screen again. A couple more things to consider here when you're trying to sell more product online. We're going to go quickly through some of these things here. Email, free shipping, quality, quantity, coupons, text messaging, cross-selling and upselling, and abandoned carts. So let's take a look here at email. Basically, email is the primary way that people are going to get to your website. So we talked earlier on about how we need to have these lead magnets in order to get people's email addresses. We can advertise the lead magnets, do all those things, but to get people to come back to your website and to get people to actually start buying things from you, you can advertise all you want to, but the best way to get people to actually start buying things from you is to send them some type of an email incentive. And you can see here that 7 out of 10 people reported using an email discount when it was sent to them over the previous week. The most effective email marketing tactics are personalization, list segmentation, automated campaigns, testing and optimization, and responsive design. And basically what this means is personalization means that we write an email and it comes out and it goes, hi, Mitch, how would you like, because I know my ideal buyer persona, how would you like to participate in this free class this week? List segmentation, maybe I've got some people that on my list that are retailers and other ones that are wholesalers, maybe yet other ones that sell services versus people that sell products. So I segment my list and can send out a very specific offer to that particular segment of the list. And then I automate it so that the emails go out on a scheduled basis without me having to write individual emails. I test the emails, do A/B split testing, make sure that things are going to get opened. And most people today actually open their emails on their cell phone. So you want to make sure that it looks good on a cell phone. I actually had someone that's participating in this particular free course here that called me out on the fact that the automated Zoom emails that go out as a result of having registered, that they were not mobile friendly emails coming from the Zoom link. And so I was like, oh, Zoom do that, but it's something to be aware of. So free shipping. People, one of the things when you have a product that you're selling on your website is that's always one of the biggest concerns is shipping. And the fact is that if we're trying to sell more product, consumers are 4 to 5 times more likely to make a purchase if you offer free shipping. Now you might want to say, you get free shipping if you spend $30 or more, or you get free shipping if you enter in this coupon code or whatever, and you have built the cost of shipping into the cost of your product. But basically studies have shown time and time again that primarily because of Amazon Prime, people now expect free shipping. And if you are charging for shipping on your website, you're not going to sell as many products as if you offer free shipping, even if the cost of your product is higher. Just something to be aware of. Not saying you have to do it, just making you aware of what the studies show. Quality. I did a podcast episode a few weeks ago with the gentleman that you see up here. His name is Guy Kawasaki. He was the original product evangelist for the Apple Macintosh. I loved talking to Guy. If you haven't checked out that podcast episode, go to 20minutesofinfluence.com and listen to my interview with Guy. But one of the things that he specifically stated in that podcast several times over and over is that if you have a really outstanding product, your customers are going to become brand advocates for you simply because they like the quality of your product. If you see the stat up here that 70% of people purchase something to solve a problem, not because they want to buy something, but because they're trying to solve a problem. And so if you have a quality product, don't be afraid to charge for it. Studies show that consumers associate discounted products with a lack of performance. So if you sit here and say, you know, I've got these fake candles and today they're 75% off or whatever, people are going to go, that's probably because it's a piece of junk. Whereas if you say, these are the very best candles that money can buy, you're going to actually get more sales than by discounting things. Now, that does not say that you should not have a coupon or a discount code, because that actually can increase your sales. And in fact, I'm going to go on here and talk about coupons and discount codes. 93% of shoppers have said that they use a coupon or discount code during the previous year. And 30% of shoppers actually redeem a digital coupon within 24 hours. So you can see some of the other stats that are up here. People purchase sooner, they spend more overall by having a coupon, but you don't want to have the coupon be on the main thing that you're selling necessarily. So let's say that I am selling those faux candles, and I'm just making this up as I go along here, but I'm selling those faux candles and they don't come with the remote control. Maybe I would say something like, you know, buy a faux candle and use this coupon code and we'll give you the remote control for 50% off or whatever it might be. So it's an add-on type of a situation there. You need to experiment with what kinds of coupons actually work for you. One of the things that I was working with this customer a few years ago that this is really where I learned it from. He would put a coupon into every single package that he shipped out. So you can see here, I didn't have a picture of him, got this picture of this eBay guy here, but doing the same thing with eBay shipping supplies, where you buy these shipping supplies and inside the package of shipping supplies, you get this coupon code that allows you to, on your next purchase, get whatever it is that he's offering. Text messaging is a great way to send out your coupon codes. 32% of consumers say that they actually prefer to receive coupons on their smartphones, and 10% of all coupon codes that are sent out via text actually end up getting used, which is way higher than most other methods. So text messaging to send out your promotions is a great way of doing this. And for those that are on this class that have participated in the previous complete course that I offered last spring, you know that I talked some about text messaging, and we'll talk about that again in the course coming up in the September here, about how you can actually send out, start building up a text messaging list and send out automated text messaging to your entire list, including coupons. This is also an interesting statistic, I thought, is that you will actually sell more by increasing the quantity rather than by providing a discount. So basically, if you say, hey, you get 20% more of this, as opposed to saying, hey, I'm going to give you a 10% discount or whatever, people are more likely to buy the bigger quantities, and you can sell up to 73% more when you offer some kind of a bonus pack. So rather than thinking just in terms of your coupons being, hey, I'm going to discount this, think instead of, hey, use this coupon and get 20% more. Another great thing to consider in order to get more sales on your website is cross-selling and upselling. And it's pretty obvious here with this little diagram here, what the difference between a cross-sell and an upsell is. You know, cross-sell is, hey, would you like fries with that? Whereas an upsell is, do you want the king size? Amazon actually introduced the upsell on their website in 2006, utilizing the phrase, hey, customers who bought this item also bought this, and their sales increased by 35% using that kind of an upsell. I've talked before about how in my book, Amazon's Dirty Little Secrets, that you should be doing the same kinds of things that Amazon is doing on their website and implementing those on your website because they seem to have it figured out. And one of the things that Amazon does really well is they put in upsells and cross-sells on every single product page. So that's something that you should take a look at here as well. The other thing where they actually put in both upsells and cross-sells are on the product checkout page. Another thing that they do is they create scarcity. Scarcity is something that a lot of times as coaches and consultants and so forth, we sit here and we see things like kind of built-in scarcity. Like, for example, I have mentioned that this course is coming up on September 9th. Well, when the cart opens up for people to join that course, which it's not open yet, but when that happens, the fact is that the class starts on September 9th. So that is true scarcity. It's like either sign up and we start the class or you're going to miss out. Putting in things like there's only 4 of these left in stock. The fact is that Amazon does this even with print on demand books. And I know this because I've got a bunch of them out there that I've written and they'll say things like only 4 left in stock. Well, maybe so, but they can print as many as they want. Kind of like the government printing money whenever they want, I guess. They can print as many as they want. People can buy more, you know, they can get more of these cameras imported from China or whatever. So it's not necessarily real scarcity, but having some kind of scarcity in there gets people to think, oh, maybe I should get it now. Otherwise I might have to wait a couple weeks or whatever. So that's something that you should take into consideration when you're doing your product sales as well. You can also create upsells through bundles. Again, you can see how Amazon has done this here by saying, hey, these items are frequently bought together, the camera, the memory card, the case, whatever it is, add all 3 of these to the cart. So create some kind of bundles with whatever kind of products it is that you're selling. You can learn to do this on your own store. This is one of the things that we're going to talk about in the complete course that starts in September. You can go in there and you can create custom upsells. And you can see here that it's going to do things like give you coupons after the customer completes the checkout and upsell related items. You can display limited availability, just like what Amazon was doing. There are only 20 of these left in stock. You can recommend the right products to the right customers with personalized algorithms. So you know that somebody has recently viewed certain things and now therefore you can recommend other products to them. You can have a live chat with your customers right on your store. And this is actually something that can be really helpful when people are sitting there, they're on your site, you happen to be on your site at the same time. Maybe you want to do a robotic type of answer, but it's even better if you can have a customer rep on there and the person's like, hey, I'm not real sure about the size of this or the color of this, and you can make recommendations to them via live chat. You can turn your visitors into revenue by personalizing follow-up emails. So somebody has looked for something and now you can send out an email, even if they haven't purchased from you, but they've registered on your site. Now you can go out there and send out personalized emails. You can upsell products after shoppers add items to their cart. Again, much like what Amazon does. And you can actually send out emails to people that abandon their carts. So for example, abandoned carts are one of the biggest losses of revenue on your site. And frequently it's because of the cost of shipping. As we said, if it had been free shipping, they might have completed the order. They get in there and they see, oh, this is $35 shipping on a $20 product. I'm not going to do it. And they leave. Well, I actually show you in the complete course here how you can go out there and capture their email addresses, capture their carts, and send out an automated email afterwards saying, hey, did you have trouble checking out? We're really sorry about that. Maybe, you should utilize this coupon here for 20% off, or utilize this coupon for free shipping and complete your purchase. I have a question asked frequently about, well, what about people that are not selling physical products? I'm a coach, a consultant, an author, a speaker, and so forth. The fact is that what we've talked about here today, the process is essentially the same, even if you're selling a service. You start out, you define who your ideal customer is, you create lead magnets and opt-ins and coupons to get people into an email sequence. Then you create a squeeze page, some kind of a landing page where you're going to be trying to sell them your particular services, and you tell them stories, you give them social proof with the number of reviews that people have made about the services that you offer and so forth. And you provide some kind of scarcity in there. Like I was saying, class starts on September 9th. You have to register before then. Provide upsells and cross-sells to your particular services. And then you make the sale. If you have an abandoned cart, you send them back through the funnel again. So all of these things are really, really important. And it all starts with what we started here today, by truly defining who your ideal customer avatar is, or your buyer persona. So with that, I am going to ask you again what your biggest takeaway has been now, and go ahead and put that in the chat. I'm going to encourage you to come back next week as I talk about multiple streams of income. Every single website is much better off by having multiple streams of income and not just selling one product or one service on your site. So with that, I'll stop the share. Glad to see that I stimulated your ideas there, Nancy. Anybody else, what your thoughts are here, or if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll stick around here for a few minutes if anybody has any questions. Glad to see that people enjoyed it. I actually really enjoy doing these for you guys. So like I said, I really hope that people come back next week. Same time, same place. Well, the link changes, I think, every week, but we'll make sure that you get the link out there to be able to join us again next week. And we'll see you then.